You are listening to the Keep the Weight Off podcast with Dr. Angela
and Marchelle,
episode number 137.
Welcome to the Keep the Weight Off podcast, where we bust all the dieting myths and discover not just how to lose weight, but more importantly, how to keep it off. We go way beyond the food, and we use science and psychology to give you strategies that work. And now your host, Dr. Angela Zechmann.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the podcast this week. I'm finally home. I'm so happy to be home. And now Marchelle's headed out of town. Like, we're just a bit nuts with the travel lately, don't you think, Marchelle?
Yeah, I know, right? We're coming and going and doing things and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe you're, I'm glad to be home. Maybe you're happy to have a little change of pace, right?
Yeah, I have to admit my brain right now is on vacation. I'm headed to the East Coast and been waiting for this for a long time. And right now, so actually this week is the official, where all the trees are the most vibrant colors.
Yes.
So it's this week that's declared, where they're like most in season.
Yes.
So my cousin, she lives in Connecticut. We're going to be there first. She said it's so beautiful there. So I cannot wait to see the landscape.
I have a friend of mine from high school who is in Massachusetts right now doing the fall foliage tour. And she's posting pictures on Facebook. It's going to be great. You're going to have a great time.
Okay, so I didn't know that's what it was called, but those are the words that I was looking for.
The fall foliage tour?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know if that's what it's called either, but
She said something like that. So, but it sounds so beautiful. And then also I get to see the Statue of Liberty, which I've never seen before. And so that's my bucket list. So I'm so excited about that. It's a quick trip though. We're not going for too long. We're going there, coming back. Yeah. So we have to just make the most of it in a short amount of time.
All right. Well, yeah, I know you'll have a great time. So you always do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before I do anything else, I want to just stop for a minute. And do you know people have been posting reviews on our podcast, and I just want to acknowledge those people have been writing us reviews, and I want to read a few of them. How's that sound?
Yeah, we're so grateful for these reviews.
I know. I can't tell you how much we appreciate it when people write honest reviews, because it's so nice to hear that what we're doing is actually worth our time and energy. And not only that, but it's helping others. When you write a review, it helps others to be able to find us. So here are a couple of our latest reviews. And the first one comes from Sue B. And she titled it Sound Evidence-Based Medical Information. She said, I've been listening to this podcast for 6 months now. Dr. Angela and Marchelle provide consistently useful information on a variety of weight loss topics. That's for sure, right? Lots of different topics.
Right.
With their help and my participation in Dr. Angela's program, I have successfully avoided sugar and all analogs and flour for 6 months. My A1C is back within normal limits, and I am losing visceral fat. This works. So I want to make sure everybody knows we've had podcasts about visceral fat. Visceral fat is life-altering fat, life-taking away fat. It's really bad fat. It's sick fat. And the A1C is the average blood sugar. And so if you have an elevated A1C, that's dangerous to the arteries. And so, it's just really gratifying to hear that she's actually seeing documented evidence that what she's doing is working. And to imagine the new life that Sue's going to be able to accomplish. Remember, obesity is a disease that takes 8 years off of our lives, and it creates so much misery during the years that we are alive. So Sue's now losing that nasty visceral fat, and this means a longer, happier, healthier life for her. And I hope she'll keep listening so she'll be able to keep the weight off, right?
Yeah, this really is truly gratifying. I love hearing feedback like this because it just, it means a lot to know that your information is helping people.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Yeah. Well, it's not just me, it's you too.
Well, me too.
Yeah. So here is another review from Magoo, 1959. She says, thank you, Dr. Angela and Marchelle. Your podcast is outstanding. This podcast, Keep the Weight Off, is such a gift from Dr. Angela and Marchelle. I began listening to their first podcast and have progressed to more recent episodes. They are enjoyable to listen to as they're down to earth with a genuine goal to educate, give insight, encourage, and are helpful with understanding the disease of obesity, the trouble with diets, sugars, the food industry, and the emotional component with keeping the weight off, and so much more. They share their journey with vulnerability and honesty with great insight. Thank you from MK Newell Eggert, MD. So this one's from a doctor, which is awesome. So thank you. It's really, really nice when your peers recognize the value of what you're doing. And what I can say is that what we're teaching you guys here on the podcast is information that we did not learn in medical school. This is just not stuff that you learn in medical school. So for those of you listening, if you haven't yet given a rating or a review, please do so. And this will really help others find out how to improve their lives and live longer and all that good stuff that comes with keeping the weight off.
Yeah. And it's like, you guys probably don't know like how much work that Dr. Angela puts into these podcasts. I mean, she really, really is passionate about these. I mean, she won't let us go. Well, I'll say, let's just skip a week. She never wants to skip a week. She always wants to get information out. So it really helps, both of us to know that people are getting something out of it. So it is much, much appreciated. These reviews are much appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And if you want to spread the word right away, this is really easy to do. Just take a screenshot of the podcast as you're listening to it and share a link on your social media platforms. That does a lot to help spread the word. 80% of people in the United States are struggling with this disease. And this is just in the US alone. And there's so much misinformation out there. And we just want to cut through all that BS diet stuff out there and help as many people as we can to get healthy and stay healthy.
Right. I agree. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here I'm going to move into today's topic. So today I wanted to talk about something interesting in terms of how we think. So if you haven't figured out by now, not only do I love science, I think I love psychology more. So all of you listening to this podcast realize by now that your thinking is just as important as your food, right? Wouldn't you say so, Marchelle?
Oh, I definitely think your thinking is even more important than your food.
I couldn't agree more.
This sounds like an interesting topic. I can't wait to talk about this.
Well, my mentor, Dr. Rader, told me that as obesity doctors, 20% of what we do is medicine and 80% of what we do is coaching. So after 16 years at this, I can tell you he's absolutely correct. So I'll just come out and say it. 80% of your success is dependent on how you think about this. And this is why I decided to get certified as a life coach, along with all the training in obesity medicine that I have. So there's actually some scientific evidence that your thoughts matter. Because I like to think about, like, if we're going to say something like this, is there any science behind it, right? So there's not a lot of evidence, but I did find a study published in 2021 in which the authors develop a framework for success based on a review of 15 studies of people who had successfully lost weight and maintained their weight loss. The conclusion of the study said more research is needed. But what they did say is that the way you think about how you're going to go about losing weight and keeping it off matters. And they developed this incredibly awesome framework. And then they said, more research is needed. And I always have to laugh at that conclusion because, as it often happens, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. Have you noticed that, Marchelle?
Yes.
The more you know, the more you realize you don't know. So if anybody comes up to you and says, we know everything, you can just know that they really don't know. So always more questions. So here's what I do know based on all my years of experience, that your thoughts matter. How you think matters, what you think matters. And how you prime your brain with questions matters. And that's what I want to focus on this week. Asking the right kinds of questions can be a game changer on your weight loss journey. So I want you to think about the questions you ask yourself. Questions are really, really important because when you ask a question, your brain is going to try to find the answer. That's how our brains work. So some questions can be really helpful and others can be not helpful at all. So Marchelle, I'm going to give you a little quiz on questions. How does this sound?
All right. Yeah.
You can guess whether you think these questions are going to be helpful or not. You ready?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Question 1. Why can't I lose weight? Is that a helpful question or a not very helpful question?
Well, I've asked myself this many times in the past. So it's a helpful question.
You think it's helpful? It's actually not. And here's why. It would seem to be helpful because we're thinking about the problem and it would seem like this would cause us to start looking for solutions. But it doesn't really help. And here's why. Our brains are like search engines. And so they're going to go search for evidence for anything we prompt it to search for. So when we ask, why can't I lose weight? We're focusing on how we can't lose weight. And we're inadvertently focusing on limitations and obstacles. It's like hitting a dead end right from the start. So you ask your brain, why can't I lose weight? It's going to come up with all kinds of reasons why weight loss is so hard. So very hard. You can just kind of hear the drama already, right?
Right.
So why can't I lose weight? This is so hard. It must be my genetics. It must be my stressful job. It must be because I suck at managing my emotions. It must be because I have people coming into my house and bringing crap food in. It must be because I'm an emotional eater and there's no hope for me. And there's just a crap ton of drama, right?
Yeah, I've been down this dark road before. It really doesn't get you anywhere except
Right.
stuck. Yeah.
So it turns out that why can't I lose weight is actually a terrible question. Instead, let's reframe it. So what would be a more helpful question to ask our brain? Well, how about this one? What can I do to make weight loss easier? Now we have our brain searching for ways to make things easier. For example, by planning and preparing food in advance. There are all kinds of things that we can do to make weight loss easy, but as long as we're prompting our brain to think about why it's hard, we'll never be able to figure out how to make it easy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, this totally makes sense. I think it takes a lot of practice, though.
For sure. Sure. Yeah. So you ready for question number 2?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. So why is it so hard to get a healthy meal on the table? Does this sound helpful or not helpful?
Well, now that you just said what you said, I think that this one would not be helpful.
Correct. It's not a helpful question. Your search engine brain is going to go looking for all the reasons why this is so darn hard. If you want to lose weight and keep it off, and you recognize the importance of cooking real food, you will see right away this question will give your brain a reason to start thinking about all kinds of excuses, right? Then the next thing you know, you just decide it's too darn hard and you give up and you Uber something or DoorDash something, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly where my brain was going with that. You just get nowhere and then you give up.
Yep. So what would be a more helpful question in this place to get our brain searching for solutions? Any thoughts?
So you could just ask yourself, like, what can I do to make it easier to get a healthy meal on the table?
Yeah, what could I do to make it easy? Yeah, what could I do to make it easy to get a healthy meal on the table? That's a really good question. I love this question because now our brain is like, yeah, I can do this and it can be easy, right? And the brain is searching for ideas and tricks and techniques to make it easy. Maybe it's getting vegetables chopped ahead of time or freezing meats in a marinade sauce so that when they thaw, they're already pre-marinated. Like, that's easy. Your brain will not be able to find these solutions when it's searching for all the ways that getting a healthy meal on the table is hard, right?
Right.
Yeah. So good job.
Thank
All right.
you.
You ready for another question?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Why am I so bad at sticking to a diet?
Okay. So we hear this a lot. I mean, I've even said this a lot. We hear this a lot. So this is a tricky one. Okay. So let me think. I'm going to say it's unhelpful because I think that this thought is just like, you're just going to feel guilty and defeated. if you ask this question.
Why am I so bad at sticking to a diet? That just
it's going nowhere. You're just going to be thinking of all the ways that, that you are not doing something right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I think that thought, I just feel contracted. Like I just feel really bad and I just want to contract inside myself and just totally give up. So not a helpful question at all. So instead, consider asking, what strategies can I use to make healthier food choices? So this question is going to shift the focus from self-criticism and guilt and that feeling that you want to just shrink yourself into a ball and defeat to finding solutions. So are there any strategies you can use to make sure that you're not exposed to junk food all the time? That's one idea that might be helpful. So what strategies can I use to make healthier food choices? That's a really good question.
Okay, so I just wanted to mention something really quick. Mm-hmm. So I hear this a lot too, is people complain that they don't have enough willpower. What do you have to say to that?
Willpower, So why don't I have enough willpower? That is an elusive quality that so many of us feel that we lack. And it's so interesting because obesity is a disease and not a character flaw, right? And when the brain's out of control appetite regulation system is brought back in control, either with good nutrition or medications, or in most instances, both, people discover that it's absolutely not about willpower. So let's just stop asking that question. It's a terrible question. Why don't I have enough willpower? That's a really terrible question. Don't ask that. Obesity is a disease that messes up the brain's appetite regulation system, period. It's not about willpower, okay? So instead of beating ourselves up about some perceived lack of willpower, ask yourself, what can I do to get this disease under control? How can I create a supportive environment? Make sure that you get help from an obesity medicine specialist and don't hesitate to use medications if needed. When you have obesity, your brain has no idea how much you've eaten and how much fat you have. That's the biochemistry of obesity. It's not a willpower issue. Your brain thinks you're starving. If there's food, you're going to eat it because your brain thinks your life depends on it. It's remarkable how all of this just shuts down with the right medications.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, I am definitely an advocate for obesity medications because I have taken them all. Mm-hmm. Like I would never have been able to get a control of my appetite or just even get started without them. And I am not ashamed to say it.
Yeah, no, there's no reason to be ashamed because it's a disease in the same way that hypertension is a disease, high blood pressure, diabetes is a disease. It's a disease. So that is a really, that question about why don't I have enough willpower? The reason is because you have a disease. So don't ask that question anymore. Don't ask that terrible question. Okay. So I've talked specifically about some of the most common questions we hear and how to reframe them. Here's an idea for all of our listeners to try. I started actually doing this and I really love the results that I'm having. So in the morning, do some journaling and try to think of 2 or 3 powerful questions you can ask yourself to get your brain focused in the right direction for the entire day. So for example, here's some questions that I've asked myself that really help me. What can I do today to make sure I stay healthy and bring my best self to the world? I love this question. Absolutely love it. What can I do today to make sure that I stay healthy and bring my best self to the world?
Yeah, this is a great question.
Here's another question. What can I do so that I will feel proud of myself when I end my day today? Ooh.
Yeah, this is great.
So you're thinking ahead to crawling into bed at night and you want to feel proud and accomplished. What can I do so that I will feel proud of myself when I end my day today? And here's another one. Is there anything I can do today to show the people I love how much I care about them? That's a really good question. Marchelle, can you think of some other great questions we can ask ourselves?
my gosh, now you're putting me on the spot. So
I know.
So I definitely would ask myself, like, what can I do to make it easier to eat healthy foods throughout the day?
Yeah, that's a good one for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah. That's all I can think of right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of putting you on the spot. Sorry. All right, everyone. Well, that's what we have for you today. The power of a good question. So our main takeaway today is that the questions that we ask ourselves can either hold us back or propel us forward on our weight loss journey. By asking the right questions, we can shift our focus from problems to solutions. And that's where real progress will happen. So as you reflect on your own weight loss goals, remember to ask empowering questions, not disempowering questions. Ask yourself empowering questions that are going to lead you to take positive action. So thanks for tuning in to the Keep the Weight Off podcast today. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe. Again, leave us a review, share it with your friends on social media, share it with your family. And if you have questions or topics that you'd like us to explore in future episodes, please reach out to us and let us know you'd like that. You can send an email to info@journeybeyondweightloss.com. And if you're ready to get started on your own weight loss journey, a great place to start is with my How to Get Rid of Belly Fat course. So this course is going to teach you all about belly fat, which is visceral fat, what causes it, how to get rid of it, and you're going to discover what it means when I say that obesity is a disease, and you'll learn how to get rid of that dangerous visceral fat that lives in our bellies. It's the perfect first step to getting yourself healthy and vibrant again. Just go to journeybeyondweightloss.com and click the link that you see. There's a tab there that says Get Rid of Belly Fat or Banish Belly Fat. Okay. So remember, we're here to support you on your journey to a healthier, happier you. Until next time, stay positive, stay curious, and keep the weight off. Take care, everyone. Bye now.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Hey, if you really want to lose weight and keep it off for good, your next step is to sign up for Dr. Angela's free weight loss course, where you're going to learn everything you need to get started on your weight loss journey the right way. Just head over to journeybeyondweightloss.com/free course to sign up. Also, it would be awesome if you could take a few moments and write a review on iTunes. Thanks, and we'll see you in Journey Beyond Weight Loss.